All right, to start, I will use a hook anywhere between 9 and 11/0, depending on the size of the squid. These squids are a little smaller, so I'm using a 9/0. And one thing, I use a short leader. That's it. I crimp this to my swivel at the end of my sword rod, because when that swivel hits the rod tip, you want to be able to gaff that fish. I see people all the time using like 10-foot leaders, whatever. It's just really, like, I've found this to be about the most effective length of leader, and I'll even go shorter than this. And the leader I use, Yazuri top knot. This is what I use for my main line, or my main leader. I'm using 200 for this. I'll use 130 for the leader on the sword rod, sometimes 200. But it's extremely abrasion resistant, and it's fluoro. Yes, I believe that it makes a difference. I get asked that all the time. Do you really think it makes a difference using fluoro for swords? Yes, I do. If I didn't think it made a difference, then I wouldn't use it. But the other thing too, it's way more abrasion resistant than my, and especially this Yazuri top knot. It's the best fluoro I've found so far. So anyway, there it is. Ta-da! Now I'm going to put 70-pound thread. 70-pound wax thread. Get a couple feet of it. Cut it. And if you'll notice too, I've got a piece of cardboard on a metal tray. Cardboard will help soak up the squid juice. Makes it easier, the squid's not sliding around. And then the tray is so that I'll accidentally slop some squid juice on the floor, which, yes, has unfortunately happened. And I didn't find out till it was too late. Anyway, so I got that tied on there. And now, this is something that I've never seen anyone else do. Maybe they do it. I tie the other end onto the hook. Just a couple of, I tie it in the hook eye. And just do a couple of overhand knots. Nothing fancy. Double overhand knots. You know, turn it twice, latch it, turn it twice, latch it. I'm going to use one bead on this, again, because it's a small squid. Slide the bead down. Alright, so we're ready to go into the squid. I'm going to take this piece of copper tubing, put it in there, put the squid where the tentacle side, or the wing side, is down. So the wings are like spread out on the bottom. Take this piece of tubing, put it right through the center, like that, like you're gonna make a shish kebab. Pull it through, take the hook, put the hook right there. And like I said, where I put the hook is going to depend on how big the squid is. This one's going to go a little bit lower. I like to put them low. I like to put them closer to the tentacles. You can always add more beads if you need to space it down more. Now, I'm going to pull that hook through. And there she is. Nice, pretty little hook in squid. You see that? So now I'm going to hold right up here on the above the hook eye, and then I'm going to push this needle. I like to use the long needles, and this is why. I'm going to push that needle through, make it come out right on the side of the hook. Then I'm going to run it back through on the other side of the hook, like so. Once again through the eye. If you miss the eye when you're pushing through, it doesn't matter because you've already got it in there. Once down the side of the hook again. I'm going to leave a loop this time because I'm going to finish it off. And I come back through the hook on the other side. Or back through the squid. So now I've got both sides of the squid, this loop end, wrap it around there. Another double overhand knot. Watch what happens to the hook when I cinch it. Hook gets solid in there. And do it again. 2 double overhand knots. 3 if you're feeling really fancy. All right. Now, take the scissors, cut it off. Notice I still have a pretty good length. All right, so that's point 1. The next thing I'm going to do, the bead is up here. I'm going to run this hook or this needle on either side of the bead, right at the tip of the bead, 1 pass, and then again I'm going to do 2 overhand knots. That just helps it not to pull through the top still. 1, 2, get on, cut it. And then, last but certainly not least, the tentacles. I'm going to push the head of the squid up inside a little bit so that I can get some of that meaty part of the squid when I push the hook or the needle through. I push it through all the way to the other side like that. Then once again, like that. Another good thing about the cardboard is when you push the needle through, it doesn't hit this, it just hits the cardboard. Now, I'll just do a loose overhand knot to start, because if you cinch this up to begin with, it's going to pinch the bottom of your squid together. It's not going to look natural. Do another loose overhand. Once you've done 2, you can do a couple of double overhands. Uno más. All right. That's a 3-point rigged squid. Now, I'm not saying it's the best way. I'm not saying that it's the only way. I'm saying that I rig about 500 squid a year, and this is how I do it. And I'm definitely always open to comments and information that will help me to improve, because as soon as I know everything, I'll have to quit fishing and go back to being a brain surgeon.